परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधाकृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललितां श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तत्र तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु। Last week, did we finish up chapter 12, Prabhu? Last week, sorry, I
No,
was
no, no,
not.
no. No, no, no. Anita started, but she didn't finish.
Oh, Anita,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and also Lakshmi, does Lakshmi have a class or when you say Lakshmi's Tamil program?
Next
Her house?
Thursday, Prabhu. Next Thursday,
Next Thursday.
Prabhu.
Okay, okay, next Thursday. Okay,
Yeah,
30th, right? 30th, I think so, right?
30th, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, okay. So we won't have class that day.
Yeah. So
Oh,
next Thursday we'll not have class. So today I was thinking we might have class, right, Prabhu?
yeah. Okay. No, so let me see. Where did we stop? One second. Let me check. Which was doing. How is the Bhakti Shastri going on?
But it's going good, Prabhu. I'm almost getting
Wonderful.
closer to chapter 7 completion, Prabhu. Need to do
Very
the
nice.
quiz this week, Prabhu.
Very
After
nice.
Karma Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga feels like a breather, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
But like that's what I was telling myself. I should not leave that phase.
Hmm.
So I should keep it up.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we finished till okay. I think we finished section number 11.
Oh, I mean, Satish Loki.
No. It's September 12.
Oh,
So it's
sorry.
chapter
Oh,
12.
that's chapter this is chapter 12.
So Manojina is yeah. We finished verse number 11. We finished verse number 11. I don't know when they're going to join. Let me put a message in the group. Usually they join on time. Oh, I think here. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu. Sorry, I'm late, Prabhu.
Krishna, no worries.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay. So just how we finished verse number 11 last week, right?
Yeah, verse number 11. Yes.
Okay. Which was number 12.
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay.
couldn't join.
Yeah, we both read. Vijay and me both read.
Okay, Prabhu. I'll catch up to the verses.
Yeah. I would like to, I don't know if Lakshmi going to join. She said she gave thumbs up when I posted a group in the morning.
Ramya and Lakshmi, right?
Ramya said, no, Ramya said she won't be able to join today.
Oh, okay.
But what was that now? Lakshmi gave thumbs up when I said today in the class. She
Okay,
said thumbs
okay.
up. So I don't know. Put in the group. Anyway, we will continue.
You want me to call Lakshmi and see, Prabhu? Vijay, can you call them? My phone is with.
I don't want too much. What do you want? I don't want that to
Shiri.
be a cause of
Sure,
not
up
coming.
to you. Oh, it's not coming, Prabhu. I will let me text Lakshmi.
Yeah. Just ask her, hey, you're joining just like that. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, Rama Mataji is here.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to share continue with the verse number 12.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah. Mangalacharan is done, right?
Yeah, I read the
Mangalacharan is
Mangalacharan.
done. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Square. Thank you.
1 second, Prabhu. Yeah. Oh, Lakshmi is also here. Very both. Okay. So, so far we've been recapping the 12th chapter. It's the last chapter in the Bhakti Yoga section, the middle part of Bhagavad Gita. It's like, as we have seen before, how these middle 12, 6 chapters are very, um, they're uh, very sweet, right? Because the Lord reveals his heart. It's like the crux of whole Bhagavad Gita, like the sandwich, the middle section in a sandwich that tastes the best, right? So this is because the first 6 chapters they talk about karma yoga. The middle 6 chapters mainly they talk about bhakti yoga, and the last 6 chapters about jnana yoga. Um, but we saw how chapter 7 and 9, um, all the chapters where Krishna reveals a lot about his heart, like how much he loves his devotees, and he gives a lot of instructions how to do devotional service and so on. In the 7th chapter, if you remember, we saw all about Bhagwan's Aishwarya, Jnana, and then in the 9th chapter, it's all about Vigyan, Bhagwan's Madhurya. Um, Opulences, meaning not opulences, Bhagwan's Madhurya, the sweetness of Bhagwan, right? And then in the 10th chapter, which is Vibhuti Yoga, we saw a lot of how to remember Krishna. There were so many pointers about how to remember Krishna in our day to day activities and so on. Then the 11th chapter is the universal form where Arjuna requests Bhagwan to show his universal form. And then Krishna shows his universal form and how he says he's Kala, personified time he is. And so Arjuna sees this ghastly universal form and he gets really frightened and he starts paying so many obeisances and so on. And the 11th chapter ends very nicely in another Bhakti Yoga verse. Um, and then the 12th chapter is, and Prabhupada called the end of 11th chapter as the essence of Bhagavad Gita. 12th chapter is titled Devotional Service. And then, if you just to recap, there are only 20 shlokas. It's one of the smallest chapters in Bhagavad Gita. The first eight, um, the 8 shlokas, they talk about various, um, sorry, the chapter starts off with Arjuna asking, what is better, devotional service to your personal form or impersonal worship, right? The universal form worship, because of what happened in the 11th chapter. And then the first 7 shlokas, Krishna establishes Bhakti Yoga's superiority over impersonal worship or impersonal devotion. And then the middle section describes different levels of bhakti, 8 to 12. If we saw, there were various classes of bhakti given: Smarnatmika Bhakti, Smarnatmika Yoga, Mananatmika Bhakti. If you remember, okay, let me share my screen also. I forgot to share my screen. Sorry. 1 second, Prabhu. Uh, yeah. Okay. So hopefully you're seeing this. Okay. Let me hide purports. Yeah. From verses 8 to 12, if you see verse number 7 is again a Bhakti Yoga verse where Krishna says, um, 6 and 7 actually, where Krishna says, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasa mat paraha, do renounce all activities and giving up all your activities unto me, being devoted to me without devotion, without deviation, and so and so. Krishna says, if a person does that, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So we see how Bhagwan himself says that he will involve himself in helping the person, helping his devotee cross the ocean of birth and death, right? So this is the foremost or the topmost level of yoga. And you see Bhagwan's involvement here. And Prabhu also highlighted that point. And then going forward, we see the other different classes of bhakti where Krishna says, Krishna is so kind that he says like, okay, if you do this, this is the best. If you cannot do this, then at least do this, you'll still start developing taste for me. If you cannot do that, then at least do that. So he's giving so many different levels of top to bottom hierarchy, where Krishna is very kindly saying, okay, if this is hard, you can do this. If that is hard, you can do this. So we saw that hierarchy. And the first one was Smaranatmika Bhakti, where Krishna, it talks about fixing mind, emotions, feelings, everything on Bhagavan. So that's the topmost form of Bhakti. The second, Mai Buddhim Niveshaya, the Krishna talks about Mananatmika Bhakti, which is one level below Smaranatmika Bhakti, where in Mananatmika Bhakti, you use your Buddhim, intelligence. So it's just reading scriptures and understanding the Lord and so on. So it stops at the level of intelligence, right? Jnana. And then that's the second level, one level below Smarnatmika Bhakti. And um, in all these verses, if you see, he'll never say, he doesn't say what he said in 6 and 7, like, I will swiftly deliver you, right? He says, you will live in me with all these, without a doubt. And then in the following verses, in this way, you will develop a desire to attain me, and so on. So you see how stark Bhagavan establishes a very stark difference between doing pure bhakti yoga versus different levels of hierarchy, other types of yoga. And then the third, after Mananatmika Bhakti comes Abhyasa Yogena. He says, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, so Mananatmika Bhakti, Smarnatmika Bhakti is fixing the mind on Bhagwan without any deviation. Like how I think Prabhu gave this example in the last class also. For pure devotees, they think about Krishna all the time, right? You can think of the Ganges flowing towards the ocean. That's how their thoughts are. They always go towards Krishna, irrespective of whatever. If you see the river Ganges, like it goes through a lot of hurdles. She goes through a lot of hurdles, many buildings in between. But still, somehow she finds the destination at the end, which is she has to go join the ocean. Similarly, a pure bhakta will, irrespective of whatever hurdles come in his life, he will always remember Krishna 24/7. And we're reading. Is it in Chaitanya Charitamrita or Jaiva Dharma? Yeah, the concept of Udipan. Yeah, it was in Jaiva Dharma, where any stimulus, anything like for a pure bhakta, anything that he sees, it will remind him of Krishna, right? That's how he fixes his mind upon him without deviation. And then there's this famous pastime of Pundarika Vidyanidhi. I just thought about it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like how much he loves the Lord. And yeah, we'll talk about that later. But just this was for such devotees, whatever, even if they have so much money with them and they live an opulent life, even then, them Krishna is everything, right? And so Bhagwan says, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then if you cannot do that, then do Abhyasa Yoga. That is sadhana bhakti, following the regulative principles of bhakti yoga. In this way, slowly you'll develop a desire to attain me, right? And then after Abhyasa Yoga, if he says, if you cannot practice sadhana yoga or Abhyasa Yoga, then just try to work for me. Now, the first three levels, Marnatmika, Mananatmika, Abhyasa, they were all at the level of subtle senses, right? You're engaging your mind, intelligence, and so on. Now, from that point onwards, if you're not able to engage your subtle senses, then at least start engaging your physical senses and work for me, Krishna says. And he says this is a type of Nishkama Karma Yoga, right? Um, but if you work for Bhagavan, then it becomes initial stage of bhakti, karma yoga, which is a form of bhakti yoga because you're working for Bhagavan. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage, Bhagavan says. And then he says, if you cannot do that also, however, you're unable to work in this consciousness of me, then just try giving up all results of your work. That's just Nishkama Karma Yoga without keeping Krishna as the goal. Just if you cannot put your mind on me, then just be detached from your work, right? And try to be self situated, is what Bhagavan says. So these are the 5 levels that he gives. Please stop me if you have any questions. We saw all of this in the last class. And then now we're going to the 12th verse. This is again a beautiful verse where there are so many levels of explanations given by different acharyas. So I'll try my best to explain, and Prabhu, please correct me if I make any mistakes. So here he says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyaga chantar anantaram. He says, Bhagavan says, if you cannot take to this practice, so he's referring to the Abhyas Yoga practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge, right? Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So here, Krishna says, um, if you cannot take to this practice, one second, Prabhu, one second. So if you cannot take to this process practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. So there are three levels, there are three different explanations for this by different acharyas. Now, it's so wonderful how acharyas can realize one particular shloka in so many ways, right? That's the powerful mercy that Bhagwan has bestowed upon acharyas. And of course, all of this has to be bona fide. I mean, it's only by through the depth, the explanation has to come from acharyas in our line of in the lineage of parampara, right? So Prabhupada's explanation, if you see, he says, if you cannot practice, then engage in the cultivation of knowledge. And if better than knowledge is meditation, where you have smaran about the Lord, where you think about the Lord, that's definitely better than knowledge. And better than if you're not able to do smaran of the Lord, then what you can do is renounce all the fruits of action. Because renouncing, definitely easier than meditation is probably renouncing the fruits of action. And such renunciation can give one peace of mind. Um, so this is just Bhagwan giving something lower than Bhakti Yoga, right? He's just giving different options. Ultimately, all these practices have to lead to Bhakti Yoga, and we see how even in all of these practices there has to be the element of Bhakti. Without Bhakti, none of these yogas can be successful, right? So Prabhupada says this that if you cannot practice the principles of Bhakti, then at least cultivate knowledge. And if you can do jnana, then slowly progress to dhyana, because meditation on the Lord is better than just knowing about the Lord, just knowing, getting knowledge about the Lord. And if it is not possible to think about Krishna, then give up the fruits of action, which is because renunciation is important. Now, the same shloka, the explanation given by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is where he says, remember the different levels of bhakti that we talked about. So he says, Jnanam, the word Jnanam, he equates that to Mananatmika Bhakti. And he says, Shreyo hi Jnanam Abhyasaj. Mananatmika Bhakti is definitely better than Abhyas Yoga, Sadhana Bhakti. Jnanat Dhyanam Vishishyate. And Dhyanam he equates to Smaranatmika Bhakti. So because you have Smaran of the Lord. And he says, better than Mananatmika Bhakti is Smaranatmika Bhakti, which is Smaran of the Lord. And by doing this, karma phala tyagas, he says, dhyanat karma phala tyagas can be understood as by doing smaran on the Lord, detachment from activities or results of fruit of action will automatically happen. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's explanation. Like he's just equating the different words here to different levels that Bhagwan talked about earlier. And then there's another commentary by Baladev Vidyabhushan along the same lines as Prabhupada, where he says, if you cannot practice, if you cannot understand Krishna through intelligence, jnanam, then at least think about Krishna, which is dhyanam. And if you cannot think about Krishna, then at least renounce your action. So, I mean, it's not very important to go into these details, but we do see that these levels are not at the level of pure bhakti yoga, right? Bhagwan is just giving different options for someone who's not able to perform, but fix his consciousness on Bhagwan, someone who's not able to do sadhana bhakti. Um, okay. Now, from text 13 onwards, Krishna is going to, they're beautiful verses, very easy to follow, but very hard,
Vriksha,
very easy to understand. Yes, Prabhu, sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry. So so I just want to summarize. So this is a different section now.
Yeah.
This is summarized. So in text number 8, the perfect devotional service is mentioned. It's remembering Krishna. Okay. Text number 9, if you can't remember Krishna always, then the devotional impact is sadhana bhakti. Okay, working for Krishna as Krishna desires. Like them doing simple surveys and doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, all different hearing, chanting about Krishna. That's number 9. Okay, the next level. Beyond that is text number 10 and 12. Not 11, 10 and 12 is basically Nishkam Karma Yoga, where you work with detachment and offer the results of fruits to Krishna. Okay, so 8, 9, 10, and 12. 10 and 12 together. Okay, then these are all comes in Bhakti Yoga. Okay, different levels of Bhakti Yoga. The Krishna says, okay, if we can't do that also, then I'll suggest two more levels lower than that. What is that? Yoga, and in text number 12 itself, Krishna says yoga, there is jnanam and yoga, right? Basic Brahma Jnanam, understanding impersonal absolute truth, or dhyana, meditation. Okay, does it make sense? Text number 8, text number 9, 10 and 12, ka first part, 12 ka first part, and beyond that is, below that is Brahma Jnanam or dhyana, lower. Okay, that is better. That is okay. It's not as good as others, but okay. The lowest one is mentioned is text number 11. Why? Because here just says give up the fruits. Does not say give up fruits to Bhagwan. Just say give up fruits. Does it make sense? Is the order, I could say, relative grades of spiritual process. So the relative grades of spiritual process and spiritual progress mentioned by Krishna. So Krishna, again, as I mentioned, Krishna is giving everything, all avenues, depending on the position one is in. Right? We have to understand where we are and work from where we are to where we want to go. That is text number 8. Does it make sense? The relative grades. Any questions? 8, 9, 10, and 12 together. Beyond that, in 12, we have Brahma Jnana and Dhyana. Below that is text number 11. Just give fruits. That's it. Nothing else.
Prabhu, how can 11 be the last one? In the 12th one, he is saying
No, so
better
in
than
level
knowledge.
1, Krishna doesn't say it's better. Krishna will say, if you can't do that, just don't do, just give up all your fruits. That's it. So giving up fruits, giving up fruits without offering to Krishna is not very great. So you could say giving up fruits
Here,
without
according
offering
to 12th
Krishna.
verse, knowledge is the lowest, lower than giving up fruits, right?
So here, even you say if you cannot take to this practice talking about verse number 10, not verse number 11.
Mm, e- No, no, the second part of this, right?
Uh-huh.
Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than
Okay.
meditation is renunciation of the fruits of
Okay.
action.
Okay. So you
Which
could say
means
that
meditation is lower than the fruits, right? And lower than meditation is knowledge.
one the fruits, नहीं, fruits मतलब क्या? Fruits of action, like text number 11, you mean?
Yeah,
No, no, no. वही है ना, if you cannot take to this practice refers to text number 10. ठीक है?
I see.
10 भी नहीं होगा, then you could say meditation, but the meditation is fruits of action. You could say that the bhakti, this 8, 9, 10 and 12 का first part is a bhakti yoga. ठीक है?
Yes, Prabhu.
I
Okay.
think even I was a bit confused, Prabhu, because when I was reading this verse and Bhagwan says better than knowledge is however is meditation, better
Here the
than
knowledge
meditation is
here,
renunciation of the fruits.
yeah, knowledge here means here Brahma Gyan.
Mm.
Okay? Meditation is dhyan. Okay, renunciate fruits of action. So here renunciate fruits of action by here basically means by offering to Bhagwan. That is, so without offering to result Bhagwan, it's not very useful in any way. It's to need some punya karma, that's it. Or you can get some purification of heart to attain higher stages. That's not very great. unless you offer the fruits to Bhagwan, there's no big point in doing that. You can get some worldly fame, worldly recognition. That's good for your, you could say that comes under the mode of goodness. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
No?
Even in the purport,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just going through the purport where we can read through this. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position.
Yeah, in knowledge here
Gradually,
means that we are soul and we are not the body, we are soul. That
okay, Sankhya Yoga.
and then Sankhya Yoga, that the Brahma Gyan, that kind of knowledge is talked about here.
Yeah.
Lakshmi
Gradually,
Rob.
knowledge.
Okay, okay.
No,
I
Prabhu,
didn't see.
she's
My
here.
bad. That's my bad. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And then by meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process.
Okay.
In the cultivation of knowledge, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme. Was there a
Uh-huh.
typo here? And that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service.
The Brahma Gyan, right?
Brahmagyan, one himself is supreme. Okay.
Brahman, Brahmasmi, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties. Okay. But in all cases, this last line, but in all cases, one should give up the result or fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause.
Yeah, that is the last. That's the last. At least वो तो करना चाहिए. There's a last. If you don't do that at all, I mean, if you don't do that, मतलब इसको, I mean, that means you are become bhogi. You are trying to enjoy.
Yeah.
Means, so that is the bare minimum to that. But the best is offering the results to Krishna, better than meditation knowledge, and then bhakti. That is how it goes. The top.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyone else has any questions? Any doubts? Lakshmi, Mataji, or Viji?
So Prabhuji,
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Thanks, Mataji.
Smaranatmika and
Mananatmika.
Mananatmika, I'm sorry, Mananatmika Bhakti, and the following the regulative principle, that's the part of Bhakti Yoga.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so I'm just trying to summarize what you said to my
Yes.
understanding. Okay. And then the next is trying to work for me. That is a service aspect of doing services for Krishna.
Okay.
Correct, right? So that and the 12th one is the one that we were just talking about. So that he says like an hierarchy of things, but why is this not the last versus 11th is the last one in priority? Because
Please go ahead. Yeah.
because if you cannot do abhyasa, then cultivation of knowledge, that one is Brahmagyan. So is that higher than Nishkama Karma Yoga then?
So that in the section 11 section talk about Nishkama Karma Yoga. The
Correct.
reason being, there's no yoga part. There's nothing of Bhagwan related. You just don't take the fruits. Yoga means you do something for Bhagwan. There's some connection. That makes sense. He says, I'm able to work in this conscious way, then try to give up all results for the work and try to facilitate it. That's it. Nothing else. Just give up all results of the work. There's nothing related to Bhagwan in this. It's not actually yoga.
Okay.
It's just doing the bare minimum of don't be attached to the results. Because that is what gets entangled, cause the entanglement.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Because cultivation of knowledge, meditation involves an object of meditation or some goal, right? So
Right.
this kind of some connection with Bhagwan in some way, in different form, like Brahmatma, Paramatma, in some form. That is why it's considered higher than the December 11.
Okay. Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam. Lakshmi, sorry, did it go ahead? Hopefully not, but please do let us know.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay, so here he says that if one devotee or anyone, if is not able to follow him, like follow his devotional path or spend time on meditation. So, whatever good things that we are doing, maybe the result of that actions, we should offer to Krishna. Am I right?
That is the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum. Okay.
Mm.
So, how do we do that? Like, is it just that when we do something good and we think about him and we say, like, whatever good things come to us because of this,
Mm.
we are giving up, giving up to. I was just confused there. Like, how do we even tell to Krishna that, okay, this is. I was just confused there.
Okay,
So
so
how do
okay,
we give how do we give that fruits to, like he was telling, right? Whatever the
okay,
cause of
how do
actions
you,
and the
yeah,
fruits. Yeah.
how do you give the fruits to Krishna,
Ah,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay, so again, it depends. For example, let's say you're by working, what do you get? You get some money, right? Use for giving to Timdan, use for the Vaishnava Seva, use for giving to Bhog for Bhagavan, sponsor
Ah,
something. That is
ah,
one way.
okay. Ah, okay.
Okay, other thing, if you have some talent, you're good at something, engage in Bhagavan service. Some people like doing art and craft. Why don't you use that employment for Bhagavan service, decoration, for example? If you love learning Sanskrit verses, learning. If you know properly, if you know it, why don't teach others about Bhagavan verses, make them remember Krishna, make them remember Krishna. That's one of the some examples,
Okay.
right? So food doesn't mean some specific. It means anything which you have in your ability. It can be money by working, or your talent, right? Or anything you're good at. Use in Bhagavan service.
Okay. Okay.
And there are many avenues of service, many avenues. Some people love gardening. Why don't you try to garden for Bhagavan, bring flowers for Bhagavan?
Okay. Okay. I get now. I understand.
In your house or in temple, wherever it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Krishna has given intelligence, and when we use when we have desire to use intelligence properly, what does Krishna say? Which verse Krishna says? Something very related to this. Bhakti has students. If you want to use, if you want to do something for Krishna gives intelligence. Where does Krishna
तेषां
say that?
सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं
Okay, good.
ददामि
Me,
बुद्धियोगं तं
Gamtam,
येन माम् उपयान्ति ते.
very good. Krishna says, one who desires to have this, or one who desires to do service to me, sincerely, I give them the intelligence for doing that. So you just desire sincerely, and Krishna will make the magic happen. And see the magic, how much wonderful manifests wonderfully. Just sincerely should be there, right? So all the different talent, all different, what we can, for example, we can make cakes, make cake of Bhagwan, make a cake of Bhagwan, offer Bhagwan, offer that of Bhagwan, give to devotees, give to others, right? So those are all there. That's the fruits. But sometimes what people do, they just try to do all these things, forgetting their own bhakti, their own sadhana. Oh, I'm good at baking. I'm going to bake and bake and bake you everything and make everything for Bhagavan. What about your stuff? Are you chanting? Are you hearing? No, I'm not getting time because I'm baking all the time. Then reduce the baking. I'll give you example. Does it make sense? The first thing is our own bhakti, our own sadhana. Without doing ourselves, we won't have the potency to give to others. How can we give something to others when we don't have ourselves? That makes sense? So employing all this talent is wonderful, provide that the bare minimum you do is you do your own sadhana, whatever we can do. And then we can do all this employ our talent, money, whatever it is, in Bhagwan service. If you love cooking, cook for Bhagwan. Wonderful, wonderful dishes. Bhagwan. Does it help, Lakshmi?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yeah.
very
Thank you.
good. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so Yanta, take your time. Please go ahead.
No, no, Prabhu. Yeah. So now, yeah, we saw 12th verse. Now, going forward, 13 to 20 is a different section where Krishna talks about different qualities of his devotees. And if you see, all of them have a pattern where Krishna ends most of these verses saying, Ma priyaha, ma priyaha. if all these qualities, a person who has all these qualities is very dear to me, very dear to me. So you'll see that in all the most of the verses coming forward. So okay, 13th, 14. अद्वेष्ट सर्वभूतानां मैत्रे करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्ट सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यद्मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः. And the following verses, I mean, they're very easy to follow, to understand, but difficult to follow, right? Because Bhagwan gives all these very beautiful qualities of his devotees. So if the last line he says, Yo mad bhakta same priyaha, such a devotee is very dear to me. Yeah. So this verse, Krishna talks about one who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress. Sama dukkha sukha kshami. We've already seen similar verses about equanimity before. And then he says, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, engaged in devotion service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. So, what Krishna says is, Sama dukkha sukha kshami. If you see I don't know if Lakshmi was here when second chapter was being reviewed. This is very famous verse, Matra Spasheshta Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkha Daha, where Krishna talks a lot about equanimity, how to tolerate both happiness and distress with an equal state of mind, right? And then in the third chapter, Krishna says, Samatvam Yogam Uchyate. Samatvam, Krishna gives so much importance to equanimity of mind, in dualities, in all kind of tribulations, equanimity at the physical level, say when you experience heat versus when you experience cold, equality at the mental level, meaning when you experience happiness and distress, equanimity at the level of false ego, when you experience fame and what's the opposite of fame? Insult, dishonor. If one keeps an equal state of mind during all these cases, then it is called yoga. It is a way in which you can actually reach Bhagwan, connect with Bhagwan, right? So a devotee of Bhagwan has all these qualities. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. He's never envious towards all living entities. Maitra, friendly. For example, if you see Yudhishthir Maharaj was never envious of Duryodhan or the Kauravas. Then the Prahlad, even though his dad Hiranyakashipu put him through so many tribulations, he never hated his dad, right? In fact, he begged Narsim Bhagwan for his mercy on his dad. And then Lord Ram, like he never hated Ravana. You know what Lord Ram said? If like Vibhishan, if Ravan comes and surrenders to me, then I will accept him as my devotee, right? I will forgive him for everything that he has done. So, and the same qualities that Bhagwan has are manifest in his devotees as well. So, all of these are such wonderful qualities of the Lord that are present in his devotees as well. Nirmamo nirahankaraha, no sense of proprietorship, without false ego. If you remember in the fifth chapter, Bhagwan says, Maheshwaram, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's the supreme proprietor of everything, all the three worlds, right? So a devotee also has no such thinking of, he does not think that something belongs to him. And then the beautiful thing about when in Prabhupada's purport also what he says is whenever a devotee is fallen into any distress, happiness, I mean into difficulty, he actually thinks that it is Lord's mercy upon him. When Queen Kunti in her prayers also she says, I mean, when you will see how when for a devotee when a big rock is being thrown at him, um, it's like not getting the exact analogy, Prabhu. I was about to some thought. I lost that train of thought. Anyways, um, basically for a devotee, even a big rock boulder is very it's like as good as Prabhu, what's the example, Prabhu? Stepping stone, or I'm not able to think of it.
Which
It's like a
one?
pebble. Yeah, okay. I think it's a pebble. Yeah. Somewhere I remember reading for a devotee, even if a big boulder of if boulder is in front of him, it'll seem like a small pebble to him, right? Because of Bhagwan's mercy on him. Yeah. And
Is it about tolerate?
yeah, tolerate, and I thought it comes in Queen Kunti's
No, it is
teachings.
like where like in the calf's footprint water. Is that the comparison, Anita? Where the big
Ah,
thing will say like it will be like a calf's footprint amount of water. That
yeah,
much it will
Lord
be.
Brahma's prayer. Yeah.
That is it, maybe different message than you're talking about. I don't know. So there is
Okay, Prabhu,
something which
never
I know
mind.
is that instead of getting hit with a knife, you got hit with a pin.
Ah, okay, yeah,
It's called
yeah.
token karma.
Token
Uh,
karma.
that's what I
Okay,
don't know exactly. That is the one.
okay. Yeah.
Is
No,
that the one?
maybe,
Or
yeah, Prabhu. I was just looking for an analogy. Basically, it's like even a big boulder would seem like a small pebble to a devotee because of the Lord's mercy on him. And in fact, the devotee thinks that it is by the mercy of the Lord that actually he's getting whatever Bhagwan is giving him is due to his past karma, and it's the mercy of the Lord that I'm able to remember it. He's making me uh, capable of remembering him during these times, right? So he's actually, even in the times of distress, he's actually rejoicing the fact that he's able to remember the Lord and thank him and be grateful to him. So he's always such a devotee, he's always quiet, calm. If you remember the verse in second chapter, uh, the ocean verse, Api Achalam. What's the verse?
apuryamanam achalam pratishtham.
Apuryamana Machalam. Yeah. Yes. Very beautiful verse where it says, just like how an ocean is, right? Very calm and tranquil, even though so many disturbances, like in the form of rivers and streams and all this come and join into the ocean, but still the ocean never gets agitated. It's just calm. The quantity of the ocean water does not go up. So much rain happens, even then the ocean is just calm. That's how a pure devotee is. If you remember in the second chapter that was given to define a sthita dhira, like if how one is with an equanimous mind, be whatever the state, whatever the distress is, right? So very beautiful analogies are given. Then one more analogy I remember, I think in the fifth chapter, uh, Padma Patram Ivam Basa. Yeah, like a devotee is like lotus leaf. Like if you see the water droplets on the lotus leaf, even though the water droplets are actually staying on the lotus leaf, but the lotus petal itself is never wet, right? So, like that, a devotee knows that all these tribulations are just temporary. He is in this world, but he's not of this world. He knows that he does not belong to this world. So, he does not have to get agitated with anything and everything that's happening to him, and that the Lord's mercy is always upon him. Yeah, so this is a beautiful verse. And then in the 15th verse, again, Yasman no dvijate loko loka no dvijate chayah harshamasha bayodveger muktoya sa chame priyah sa chame priyah, where Krishna again says, he by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So generally, if you see a materialistic person, right? Um, he is very agitated with the sense objects around him. He's very happy when there's something that is giving happiness, pleasure to his senses. But then when he sees that someone else has something that he wants, and he does not have that, then he becomes like very envious and very jealous and sorry and so on. But and also when he does not have something, he becomes dejected and so on. But a devotee is parasuki, suki, no, parasuki, suki, what's the word, Prabhu? Paraduki, duki.
Para
He
dukha
mean
dukhi.
Paradukha dukhi, yeah. Parasukha sukhi, paradukha dukhi, yeah. So a devotee is very happy when he sees his fellow beings happy, right? At the same time, a devotee is very sad when he sees his fellow beings very sad. Like basically, he empathizes with his devotee, with his fellow, associates. So even if he thinks of it as his own problem, if somebody in our congregation is going through some difficulty, a pure devotee thinks of it as his own problem and he empathizes. In the same way, he's very happy when something good happens to him. So that's the difference. But we are in the materialistic people are like parasukha dukhi. If someone's happy and we're not happy, then we are jealous and we are sad. And paradukha sukhi. So if someone is sad, then we are happy. Okay, I have whatever that person does not have, and so on. So that's the biggest difference between devotees and materialistic people, at least like me. Yeah. Then next verse. अनपेक्ष सुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गताव्यतः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी सोमद्भक्तः समे प्रियः. So Krishna says, my devotee is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, udasina, and not striving for some result, sarvaramba parityagi, is very dear to me. Anepaksha, anapeksha, sorry, one who is without any expectations. He is very neutral. Suchihi, daksha, pure and expert. Udasino, not care, don't care about any stress and so on, right? So if you see all these qualities, right? All these qualities can be a product of bhakti, or they can also be attained for someone who's in sattva guna, right? So the difference is sattva guna is in the material mode of goodness. Sattva guna is still a material mode. When bhakti is not there, it is very, very much possible that these qualities, even though attained in sattva guna, may not be sustainable. So we should understand that it's actually bhakti that can sustain these good qualities, even though a sattva guna person may have them. There's no guarantee that he can keep those good qualities with him all the time. In fact, I was listening to Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's class. I mean, because I do Bhakti Shastri under him, and he was giving an example where there was a girl who was from a very pure Brahminical family, and they don't even eat egg, or they just stay away from the smell of all this, right? And then by some reason, some force of providence, she gets married to a non-Brahmin person. I mean, without any choice, and she was forced into it. So now she tells the guy, okay, I am a pure vegetarian. This girl, being from a pure Brahminical family and everything, she has developed a lot of sattva guna and everything, right? So she tells the guy, okay, I'm not going to eat anything, and I won't let you cook anything in the house. You can't bring anything to the house. I won't stop you from eating because I know it's hard. You can go outside and have in restaurants whatever you want to eat, but don't bring anything to the house. And then he goes outside and he eats, and then few days pass by. And then she starts feeling compassionate. She's like, okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on him. And then she tells him, okay, you can start bringing stuff to the house and eat, but don't bring them near me. I'll stay away from them. And then this guy starts bringing stuff home and starts eating. And then few days pass. Again, she feels very sad. And then she says, she thinks that, okay, we're spending a lot of money and also the food is not at all good from buying from outside. So then she says, like, okay, why don't I cook for you? But I'll never touch anything. Okay. I will not touch a single spoon, but I'll cook for you because you're my husband and I love you and care for you. And then she starts cooking for him, right? And then after a point, she thinks, okay, how do I know if the food tastes good, or how do I know I mean, if I don't taste what I'm cooking, then there's obviously no love in what I'm doing, right? Meaning it's just, I'm not putting any of my feelings into the cooking, and I don't even know how it tastes. And then she took a spoon and she tasted it, and that's it. She fell in love with the taste. And then she's like, oh my goodness. And then she starts eating. And then to such an extent, this is the real story Prabhu shared, to such an extent that she started writing recipes on non vegetarian cuisines. And then you see how much of a transformation happened, right? Even though she had all these sattva guna of compassion and loving her husband and serving her husband and so on, But still, you see what the material world can do to us, and influence of such association can also do to us. So, Lakshmi, you have a question? Sorry, saw you unmute.
Ah, yeah, yes, Anita. It's like I wanted to ask, like, so Sattva Guna means like staying away from non-veg.
No,
Is that okay?
okay, sorry. That's a very big discussion about. I mean, you can always talk to Prabhu about non-veg. If, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan says in third chapter, where we talked about yajna and everything. Bhagwan says, anything, if you eat something that is not offered to me, right? That is not offered as yajna to Bhagwan, that then you're verily eating sin, is what Bhagwan says. So, and then he goes on to say again in the ninth chapter, yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to, obviously, yeah, I don't want to go too much into this. We can have a discussion later also. But then I just took this example because I felt, okay, how a if without bhakti, the material world can be, Maya can be so influential that it can just corrupt you completely. But
Okay.
definitely,
Mhm.
if you're starting to practice bhakti, uh, slowly, it doesn't happen overnight. But I think slowly, when you start developing more and more taste for Bhagwan, and when you want to progress on your level of bhakti, I'm sure Prabhu and Madhavi Mataji should be able to guide you the best, and they can start giving you instructions. Um,
Okay.
Prabhu, do you want to add something, Prabhu, or
You can go to chapter number 17, verse
17?
number 7, 8, 9, 10.
Chapter number 17.
Talks about different modes.
17? What 8, 9, which one?
7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
This is the introduction verse, seventh verse.
Yeah.
Foods into different modes, right? Even the
Yeah.
food, each verse refers to different modes. And the eighth verse talks about mode of goodness. 9 talks about in passion. 10 talks about the mode of ignorance,
Yeah. Okay. Jai.
right? So this is right then Bhagavad Gita Krishna has mentioned already here, and you can
Mm.
see the explanations in the commentary. Properly, you can see explanations. So
Yeah.
definitely, this by if you one sentence, eating meat, fish, they all come in the mode of ignorance. They're not in the mode. Those foods are not in the mode of goodness or in passion. Those things are in the mode of those particular items are in the mode of ignorance. A person in the mode of goodness may start eating that, and the it can overpower their dominant mode after one point of time. Just like the person is in the mode of sattvic, that lady, mode of goodness, once she tasted mode of ignorance, because we are so conditioned that we want for the the for the tongue to feel tasty things. We go different places. So our goal is different. We want to have taste, best food, right? Whatever is it. So for that is so this many psychology things also comes into this. But those food itself in Ayurvedic also, right? We have sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food. That's one of the reason even when we follow this Krishna consciousness, we don't eat onion garlic also. It's not just meat, egg, or fish, whatever. But even onion and garlic are tamasic foods. They are vegetables, but even they come in tamasic foods, right? According to Ayurveda, because their effects uh, tend to develop those tamasic qualities in us, right? So, so it's yeah, but we can have discussion. But straight answer, the meat, eggs, everything, they're tamasic foods. Very simple. And does it help?
Ah, yes, Prabhuji. I got it.
Yeah. So, with the point I was trying to make was, if bhakti is not there, then it's very hard to sustain these qualities, even though in Shuddha Sattva Guna, we may have these qualities. And then we also see examples where bhakti can convert even the worst of these qualities to good qualities, right? If you know in the example of Jagai and Madai in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, the biggest, the drunkards, the worst possible offenders, they were born into a Brahminical family, but they did not have any qualities of their, uh, what's the word, Prabhu? Uh, Dvija, what's the word?
Which word?
The Jagai and Madai, even though they were born into Brahminical families, they did not have any quality of a Brahmin. Dvija
Dvijas, you
Bandhu.
could say.
Dvija Bandhu.
They're
Yeah.
not in Dvija Bandhu, but
They're not, yeah.
lower than that. But okay.
Yeah, they had all the horrible qualities, drinking, eating meat, prostitution, everything possible. And then, yeah, so, but then Bhagwan's mercy, as soon as they met Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur and they received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their lives changed. They became pure devotees of the Lord. Right now, we are reading phrases where they are glorifying the Lord, they're singing prayers for the Lord. So you see how bhakti can convert even the worst qualities into good qualities. So it's important that the element of bhakti is there. Yeah. So then going on, chapter 17, sorry, verse 17. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati subha shubha shubha as ashubha parityagi bhaktiman yas same priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, one who neither laments nor desires, and one who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So, neither rejoices nor grieves, neither laments nor desires. Shubha Ashubha Parityagi, one who gives up all, uh, you know, fame and infamy, auspicious and inauspicious things, and one who is always satisfied with whatever he or she has. Sometimes the devotees, if you see pure devotees of the Lord, they don't even get enough food to eat. In Raghunath Das Goswami, we are reading his pastimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, sorry, Raghunath Das Goswami, sorry. So where at one point he was born into a big wealthy family, but then when he came in the association of devotees, when he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just wanted to give up everything and just come away. His family tried to bring him back so many times, but still he just wanted to run away from everything. He had a beautiful wife and so on. And then he used to beg. He used to stand in front of the Simhadwara and eat. Even that he gave up. And then at one point, he was just eating the remnants of whatever was left, by people who have already eaten prasad. And so that's even with that, he was very happy, basically. And then because he was very satisfied with bhakti in his heart. So many such wonderful pastimes, of the Lord. So such a person never laments nor desires, like he has no expectations only. So then what's the whole point of lamenting or desiring for anything, right? And then he who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things because he knows everything is temporary in this world. There's a very beautiful verse I wanted to show you. This stuck to my heart. The Yehi Samparshaja Boga. I think it's fourth chapter. I think it's good to memorize and always remember so many beautiful verses, but for some reason I got reminded of this fourth chapter only. Uh, no, fifth chapter, sorry.
Yeah, fifth, I think so.
Fifth, the end verse, Vijay,
Fifth,
memorize பண்ணவே
5.24,
So 22.
Yeah,
22.
22. Yeah. Yeah, yehi samparshja bhoga dukkha yonay eva te adyantavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate putaha. So Bhagavan says an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. So an intelligent person knows that misery is coming because of the contact of the contact of our senses with the material sense objects. And O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. So you should know that, like, they say, right, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. So we should always know that be it happiness or distress, both have a beginning and an end. And so the wise man does not delight in them because he knows that everything is temporary. So even if it's a source of misery, he's totally undisturbed by devotee of the Lord because it's just temporary, and it's not and it's everything, it has a beginning and it has an end, so nothing is permanent in this temporary world. So, and a wise man would not take any delight in any happiness or distress. Okay. um yeah. And then 1819, Samashatru Cha Mitre Cha Tata Manapamanayoho Sitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu Samasanga Vivarjitaha Tulya Ninda Sutir Mauni Santushto Yena Kenachit Aneketah Stira Matir Bhaktiman Me Priyo Naraha. Here Bhagavan says again, one who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and in all dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy. So if you see, he's touching upon all the three levels of what do you say? Uh, all the three levels of is the physical senses, the subtle senses,
Distresses.
distresses, yeah, distresses and honors. I mean, this happiness and distress that impacts us at the physical level, right? Heat and cold. Happiness and distress that impacts us at the mental or emotional level, which is happiness and whatever makes you sad. Fame and infamy is something that impacts your false ego level, right? So all three levels of consciousness um, is one who's equipoised, honor and dishonor, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent. So when Bhagwan says a devotee is always silent, means he's not quiet. He just does not involve in any discussions that has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. So he's always silent when it comes to Prajalpa. But he talks a lot about Bhagwan. Tushyantiche Ramanticha. A devotee takes so much pleasure in talking about Bhagwan, spreading Bhagwan's messages, talking about his pastimes, and that's his only way of taking delight, right? And then he's satisfied with everything because he knows whatever comes is temporary in this world. He doesn't care for any residence, who's fixed in knowledge and who's engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. So such a person, sometimes he may live in a very opulent building, sometimes he may live underneath a tree, and for a devotee, he's not attracted to either of them. So he knows if he's living under in a palace or a building, big building, he knows it's the mercy of the Lord. If he's living under a tree, he understands that also is a mercy of the Lord. So he's fixed in his determination and knowledge that everything is uh, a property of Bhagavan and nothing, he does not own anything. And yeah, very self-realized. He's internally happy. We all seek for happiness, but then we look the biggest problem is because we try to seek for external happiness. But somehow if we can make our internal, our self satisfied, if you seek that happiness within, then that's the best remedy for all of us to live in this material world and somehow get done and go back to spiritual world, right? Yeah. And then final verse, just finish and then questions to Prabhu. Yeah. Etu dharmartamidam yatoktam paryupasate shraddhana mat parama bhaktaste tiva me priyaha. And then Bhagavan just says, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and completely engage with faith, shraddhana mat parama, taking me as a supreme Lord, they are very, very ativa, very, very dear to me, Bhagavan says. So every chapter is ending is like a pinnacle verse, right? It's a very sweet. 11th chapter ended with the Bhakti Yoga verse. I'm sure 10th chapter also, and so many. Ninth chapter also. Manmana Pavamat Bhaktu, I think, ninth chapter ending. So all these verses are like pinnacle verses of Bhakti Yoga, and it's just so beautiful. Um, yeah, that's it for 12th chapter. Any questions? Prabhu, I hope I did some justice to these verses today. They're
Very
very
nice. Thank you
simple
so much.
verses.
Very,
Yeah.
very beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time, going through different sources and uh, summarizing very beautifully. Very beautiful. Thank you so much.
So much, Prabhu.
Okay. Any questions? Anything? Any to share? They completed, you could say, 2/3 of Bhagavad Gita. Right? The next 1/3 is 13 to 18. Any questions? Anything?
I just wanted to mention, Prabhu, Anita, you did a great job. It was so good. Thank you so much. You revised lot many other verses also. It was very good. Thank you so much, Anita.
Thank you so much. All glories to Prabhupada and Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. I just listened to him while driving back from office, and everything, whatever I said was everything that he said. Krishna's mercy. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, no questions, anyone decide to ask? Mataji, Lakshmi, no questions. Please you take time and read through these verses. That will give much more clarity. But anything comes to mind right now, please to ask. Iman?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
one thing is, yes, all these Krishna is saying it is so hard to practice, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Is there any guidelines and tips to practice?
So Mataji, the many of the qualities which Krishna mentioned, I think there are 35 qualities in total if you count of 13 to 20, 13 to 19, you could say. There are about 35 qualities mentioned. Now, there are people who naturally have this quality without doing any spiritual activity. Some may be always satisfied, some may always self-control. Then bhakti, kuch bhi nahi, bas self-control. That can also happen, right? So there are people who can have this quality without doing any bhakti. And there are people who are in spiritual path who try to perfect at least one of these. Okay? Okay? But then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, and the Acharya also mentioned, Prabhupada mentioned in the 19th verse, 18th verse also, that one doesn't have to extraneously endeavor to acquire his qualification. One can definitely put effort, but it's not that we are trying to develop the qualities. The qualities are the effect of doing bhakti. Instead of trying to cultivate the effect and by not doing the cause, they're doing the other way around. Does it make sense?
Yeah, okay.
We try to do the other way around. We try to develop the effect. The effect क्या है? Yeah, okay. Let me develop that effect first. Are
Yeah,
to
okay.
do
By
cause,
chanting, by
to
chanting
sadhana
more,
bhakti.
most
Yes. So
sadhana with detachment comes
yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly. So by engagement in sadhana bhakti, these qualities automatically develop. But does it mean that we should not try to develop in parallel when we're doing bhakti? No. We should try our best.
Yeah,
We should try our best. But that cultivating these qualities on our own strength won't last long. Right? But you develop a parallel. But sadhana bhakti is such an amazing process. It removes all the mala, all the dirtiness in the heart. It has the potency.
right.
So if you see in this particular 20th verse specifically, Krishna is mentioning that the devotees, so basically till 13 to 19, the devotees described up to this point have each perfectly cultivated one aspect. But in this verse, what is Krishna expect? What is Krishna wants? Krishna saying, those mentioned this verse in 20th verse, those devotees want to perfect all the qualities mentioned. Okay. So even during the stage of sadhana bhakti, when they're practicing devotional service, these devotees mentioned 20th verse, they are superior to devotees of other paths who have perfected the particular path. For example, a karma yogi or jnana yogi. The jnana yogi is perfect jnana yogi is still lower than a sadhaka engaged in full Krishna bhakti and still not perfected yet. Trying to develop these qualities. Does it make sense?
Okay, yes. The
That
ladder.
the
I see
ladder.
the ladder. So jnana, even the
Yes.
perfected jnana yogi is even much lower than even the sadhana bhakti.
Yeah, so that is because why? First of all, they're doing bhakti to Krishna directly, and they desire to cultivate all this. We're saying, okay, you're still better than that. And so this beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think it comes in the 7th canto. Yashatma Bhakti ne. this comes under certainly this verse. Yasasti bhakti bhagavate kinchana sarvai guna satsa samatade sura. This verse. Yasasti bhakti bhagavati. This comes under 5, yeah, Prahlad Maharaj prayers. 5, 18, 12. Okay, I can
7, 8,
share
12.
5, 18, 12. Very beautiful
Okay.
verse. Prabhupada quotes this verse quite often. I'll share my screen. Yes, so this is the fifth canto where the residents of Jambu Dweep, they are glorifying Bhagwan. This Prahlad Maharaj saying, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavate akinchana. Those who does akinchana bhakti unto Bhagwan, what happens? Sarver gunais,
Hmm.
all the qualities of who Sura or Devatas, Samasate is present, appears in that particular devotee.
Hmm.
Whereas Harav Abhaktasya, whereas those devotees who don't have bhakti towards Hari, उनको कौन सा मार्ग गुण है? They may have all these qualities. They may have no lamentation, no this, or so many qualities mentioned in this particular 13 to 19 verse. They may have all these qualities. So what is the use of these qualities? Because they don't have bhakti to Hari.
Hmm.
It makes sense? So
Yeah.
the bhakti to Hari is topmost, and all the other becomes effect.
Okay.
Yes, this very beautiful verse. All the demigods and exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, renunciation become manifest in the body of one was developed unalloyed, akinchan, bhakti towards Bhagavan. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has two good qualities. Even in
Hmm.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Shri Rupa Goswami,
Hmm.
after mentioning the 64 limbs of bhakti,
Hmm.
at the very end, he describes what are things which looks like bhakti, which actually not.
I see.
He
Okay.
mentions one of the things is the various talent, various qualities one has without developing bhakti, one may be very renounced. These may look like people with very high devotional service, but they are not. These are
Hmm.
supposed to come as an effect of bhakti.
Hmm. Okay.
So our desire should be there to develop these qualities.
Hmm.
And by doing bhakti properly, all this will come to pass. It will come. It takes patience. It takes patience. That is a very, very tough thing.
Yeah.
Patience. Utsaha,
It,
Nishchaya, Dhairyat.
yeah.
One should be enthusiastic, one should be determined, and one should be patient.
Okay.
Right, Bhakti? So but once you have a desire, at least, your TA, I want to attain this.
Okay. Thank you,
Does it make sense,
Maharaj.
Bhakti? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, anyone? Fine. Nice. Okay. So we'll stop here. It's 10:15 or 8:15 there. Because before we start next, I want to start the next chapter and then cut off. So next chapter is 13th chapter. Actually, Anita, you reminding me we did not finish 13th chapter fully. That much I know. Where did we stop though? I think we went to quite a bit as well.
We
No,
didn't finish, Prabhu. We
Yeah.
let me look my notes, Prabhu. I have written, Prabhu. I think we were
Yeah.
close to the last section, I think, Prabhu.
I'm thinking it was on 23, 22 something. I'm thinking.
Somewhere, Prabhu, because that is where finally, like, there will be a series of verses where Bhagwan will talk about. He'll mention like a third person. Oh, that is greater. That is greater. And finally, at one verse comes where it says, "That is me." I think we were in that verse, Prabhu.
Well, yeah, that is the Purusha. That is the Paramatma verse, I think so.
Correct, Prabhu. I think I remember we talked about that first, and after which I don't remember, Prabhu.
Yeah. I think this 23rd, 23rd verse something. So before we started recapping this for Ramataji and Lakshmi, before we started this summarizing, you could say, series, we were in 13th chapter. We finished around 22nd to 23rd verse, which you could say the chapter has almost 35 verses. So you could say pretty much almost close to the end. So we'll be going through that. Would you like to take up 13th verse? Is one of the most technically challenging chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. 13th and 14th also to some extent, but 13 is very complicated or difficult to understand. Would anyone like to take up that? Or if not, then I will take it. But would anyone want to take up? And
I cannot explain like the whole chapter like how Anita did, Prabhu. I can just do a recap like how we do in like before the class, right? Like right from my notes.
yeah.
Probably I will let you take up that thing, Prabhu. I can just like as I told you, I can just read up my notes and saying like, oh, what are the important points? Like how is the chapter being divided? What are the main points? Like I can talk in that sense, but nothing
Okay.
deeper, Prabhu.
Okay. No worries. Because 13th chapter is a bit challenging. I will try my best to go through it. Please, if I missed anything for me, please add it for my notes as well later, right? Or in between, whenever you feel like. So next week, no, not next week. Next week, I think Lakshmi has another program at her place. We'll skip next week because we want to join as well. Join as well. We'll skip next week and join the day, next week after, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Next
Yeah.
week, Thursday, we are having Damodar program.
Perfect. Wonderful. So we'll skip next week, and the week after that, I think got number 6 or 7 something, maybe. Number 6 or 7. So we'll meet 10, 2 weeks after, from now, 13th chapter. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. All the very best, Lakshmi. It will be going perfectly. We have devotees here who have experience in doing this. Please take the help. Vijay has done it, and has done it multiple Vivek, and they have done multiple times. If not, we can take the help. I'm sure they're able to help as well.
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. We see you 2 weeks from now. Panchakल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अधिरोषणि की जय, उदिता की जय, शुभपाल की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Kana.
Krishna,
Hare
we
Krishna.
can hear you 1 second. Okay. How would you say something? Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Kana.
Hey.
Hare Krishna, Kana.
Sleeping time is 10:20 years old.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
That's Rama Mataji. Hashtag Amma.
See? Video. Yeah.
Hi, Mataji, you see? You're asking who is that? That new photo, right? Radha Golokananda, right? Who's that? Who's that?
Hare Krishna, Kanha.
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Say Hare Krishna to Ai and Kanai also, okay?
Only slept.
Okay, Prabhu. You go take care, Prabhu. I know it's very late for you. Yeah.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you so
Hare
much.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.